So a very warm welcome to Ljubljana in Slovenia, ICAO code Lima Juliet. We're in the Leonardo Maddog, the MD-82, which I absolutely love. It always gets the better of me, but nevertheless I absolutely love it. And we're in this lovely retro livery, Adria Airways, and let me just change the view. There we go. Lovely retro livery. It's a free download from flightsim.to. And today we're going to be paying just a tribute really to Inex-Adria, who flew flight 1308 into Ajaccio in Corsica, which is a Lima Fox Kilo Juliet. And unfortunately they had an accident and all on board perished. And Mental Pilots, I don't know if it's a channel that maybe you do watch, it's absolutely fabulous. He is a real world airline captain and training captain, and you know what he can derive from real world accidents is it's important to follow these things, because that's how you really learn your skills, and the insight he has is just fabulous. That accident, it came down to several factors, as do most accidents, principally though to do with communications, and that accident in particular set the scene for proper internationally recognized ATC pilot parlance, dialogue. So yeah, unfortunately we learn from the mistakes. So yeah, so anyway, we're going to do today a flight into Ajaccio. We're going to follow the procedure they did try and follow back then. So hopefully we will get it right. In the meantime, let me just start with the map as I usually do. Here's the route. So Ljubljana is here to the eastern end of the Alps. So it's lots of hilly terrain here. We'll have a quick look around in a moment. And we're going to fly across the north of Italy. So over Bologna, Pisa, just to the south of Venice. And then we're going to coast out over Pisa, coast in over Corsica at Bastia. And then we're flying across to Ajaccio, which is in the southwestern quadrant of Corsica. And we're going to try using Beyond ATC, but it will go wobbly because I'm going to do this approach, which is no longer available today, and I'll run through that with you in a moment or two. So let's get the airways up. There we go. And if we just look at Ljubljana, the active runway today is at 12, and there's a departure, the LUPIX 2 Delta, which just takes you sort of southeast to LUPIX, and then we're going to turn right to the southwest on track. So nothing difficult there. I think that there's not even an altitude or a speed restriction. So you go to LUPIX and then you get vectors. So that's straightforward. Corsica, on the other hand, is not straightforward, because Corsica is very mountainous. So let's try and get the VFR map. These are big mountains, 4,000-5,000 feet. There are safety altitudes here, which are not that I can see any at the moment, but we'll look at the MSAs anyway on the charts. And the runway at Ajaccio is 0220. Back then it was 0321. But anyway, so it's been redesignated. But you'll see that most approaches go to 02 because there are high mountains around. And that notwithstanding, you can still do an ILS into 02 and then break off either north or to the south and do a visual circuit to land on 20. There is actually another route, the lesser known route, which takes you through sort of a valley just north of the airfield, and you turn right at the end of it. And that's quite an interesting one. Maybe we'll do a separate video on that. So as I said, we're going to use Beyond ATC, and it might throw a wobbly. I don't know. We'll have a look. So I haven't got any approaches listed here other than the ILS. So we'll use this on the back end of the procedure that I will show you. Today's ILS begins either at Holrow or over here to the west of the field at Idle, I guess that's called. So we'll follow the ILS, and then we'll break off to do a visual circuit. So point A is 2 miles on the ILS to DME from the threshold. So it's a right turn 341, and then there's just a small sort of hill here that you'll see, and then you go obviously parallel excuse me, parallel to the runway, and then there's a max 4.2 DME arc. So before we get to 4.2, we'll start our right turn. So rate 1 right turn, maybe slightly steeper than that, to then establish 202 on the finals. So we'll do this to the best of my ability. The approach that we will do though is here. Now I've just taken the approach chart. Oops, let me do that again. This approach chart, and I've tailored it to show the approach that Inex-Adria flight 1308 would have done back in the day. So we're coming in from the north east from Bastia, and we're going to go to Ajaccio, and we're going to arrive at Ajaccio like Inex-Adria 1308 at 11,000, and that's unfortunately where it all went wrong, because they went too fast. It's there's a hold here which you're supposed to descend, minimum hold altitude 6,800. They went too fast. Of course, the radius of their turns is too much. There's miscommunication, so they thought they were cleared down to, I think it was 3,300, but actually you can't descend to 3,300 until you're on the outbound leg. So anyway, overhead Ajaccio 11,000. We'll go into the hold, descend to 7,000. Actually, we'll go down to 6,800, and then when we get inbound, we'll stop the hold and go outbound on the 247 radial to 8 DME from Ajaccio. Then it's a left turn to establish on the ILS, and as we go outbound, we'll descend 3,300. Okay, and then we'll follow the ILS. When we get to, I think it was 2 miles, we'll break right to do a visual circuit. Okay, and if you do want to know more about the Inex-Adria flight, which is very, very sad, there is a web page that you can get to, admiralcloudbergmedium.com, and cleared for catastrophe, the crash of Inex-Adria Avia Promet flight 1308. And as I said, Mentor Pilot has an excellent video on this, his most recent release. And as I said, you learn a lot from these things. It's a sad fact, but you do learn. That's how corrective actions are put into effect. So anyway, let's get back to the flight. We'll get back to Navigraph charts. We'll switch that on, switch that off. Let's go back to the airport. So we're parked outside the apron. We're on runway 12 for departure, so we'll get we'll probably taxi from stand actually today, and we'll probably get taxi along Alpha to holding point Kilo. But we'll see what Beyond ATC have got to say about that, because they're going to throw a wobbler, as I said, when we get to the other end. The departure, as I said, is just straightforward, straight track through to Lupix, and then it's right turn on track. Okay, so with that in mind, there's our aeroplane. Let's have a quick look around, because it's it's very beautiful, but these are big mountains. Yeah, they're big. Okay, so yeah, this area is very prone to fog in the winter time. So mate, I've got these steps extended, not fully extended. I need to get that sorted, because otherwise passengers won't be able to board unless they jump. I've got the air stairs at the front, otherwise we're cold and dark. So let's get into the cockpit and get set up. So we'll get the battery on, we'll lock the battery, we'll fire up the APU so start pump can come on, and the fuel pump right aft can come on. Then we'll fire up the APU. Okay, we'll set our emergency lights to arm, and we'll get no smoking on. Seat belts we haven't refueled, so they can stay off. We need to get the nav lights. So nav lights are coming on. Let's get rid of the master caution. I'm going to hide the yoke because it just gets in the way in this aircraft. And we've got the tablet on with ground services, and I'll get SimBrief up in a second. I'm just going to try and work out whether or not I need to. Let's see if yeah, that. Oh, has it? Not quite. I wonder how you get the rest of that extended. I'm sure it will do in a moment. Maybe when we get the APU. There we go. So APU gens are on. Maybe it'll fire up now. So let's get the. It's quite hot today, so we'll get the extra cooling on. We'll get the packs. Please are on. Packs are on. And what we need is some weather, because we need to get the landing information. So Ajaccio is 19 feet, so the elevation can stay at 0, and the QNH at Ajaccio is 1012. So we get that set into the aircraft. So just zoom in here. So 1012 set, and the altitude set. So we've got our pressurization set. We'll just press F to get back to our normal view. We'll press B just to get the barometric pressure sorted out, and we'll get the loadings now in the aircraft. So I'll get them boarded. So 146 passengers, and we'll go to electronic flight bag, bring in the SimBrief OFP, go back, go to weight and balance, SimBrief OOP, and so we've got block fuel 8,785, and they're now boarding. So let's get the aircraft set up. Kind of forgot what to do in this airplane. It's a complex. It's lovely. Going to get the reference cards up on the screen. So FMC, pos in it. We need to do Lima Juliet. That goes to RAF Airport. And we'll bring in the GPS position and populate it in right 5. So that's our position sorted. Now we can go to the route, and because we brought the SimBrief flight plan, it'll be available for the FMC or the CDU. So origin LJLJ, Lima Juliet, and destination Lima Fox Kilo Juliet. That goes into company route. Activate, execute. Okay, so let's get the departure sorted out. Runway 12, and we're on the, I can't remember, let's have a look. We're on the LUPIX 2 Delta. They might change that, who knows. We'll cross that bridge when we come to it. So let's go back to the legs page. So we've got LUPIX, there's no altitude restrictions. So probably what I'll do, I'm just going to dial in an altitude. We'll go up to 10,000. 10,000. We'll see what they say anyway. And we're already at 1,200 feet here in Ljubljana. So if I just scroll to the end of this, Bastia, Ajaccio. Now I'm going to put in the runway that we're going to arrive in. I'm going to do the ILS Zulu 02. No transition because we just want the final segment. Let's go back to legs. Ajaccio. So I'm going to just bring this, get rid of discontinuity. Okay, the flight plan is in, so we're happy with all that. Let's go to the index page and let's get the fuel populated. So it's 8.8, and in the Mad Dog you do 8.8/N, which is normal schedule. And the zero fuel weight we've got today 50.7. 50.7. We'll do reserves, which we'll get that from SimBrief Planner. Fetch payload. So 3.6. We're going to fly 32. I think that's what I got filed. I just need to, hang on, let's have a look, summary. Flight level 320, yeah, that's what I filed. Okay, and what we want now is weather. So we want cruise wind 287.55, 287.55, and the ISO deviation is, oh gosh, it's warm, 11. Okay, and that should -38, -36. Wow, heck, that's close enough. Right, so that's done. Now we can go to our takeoff page. Close down the SimBrief panel. Go here. So what we want here is the takeoff weight, which is 59,128. 59,128. So we go to performance. Weight. 59,128. Then we do airport, Lima Juliet, and we do runway 12, and I need to get the weather back up, so I'm going to get this on screen. No, let's do that again. Let's go here, airports, Ljubljana, weather. So QNH 1012, wind 0403. So 040 at 3, 0112 40 at 3, QNH 1012, and the temperature is 28. Okay, then we hit calc. So the aircraft tells us we can accept today an assumed temperature of 58, so we're not going to need full power to take off. So what we do is we go to the thrust rating panel, hit flex, and then we dial in 50. Okay, so that's now set. And actually, while I'm here, let's uncage the standby AI. Okay, and we want flap. Now, the MD-80 series is a fantastic flap and trim system. Okay, you can set the flaps to any angle you want. Obviously, this is calculated for us. It's telling me that 5.5 is ideal, okay, because it will provide additional lift but not too much drag. 5.5, but it's literally dial a flap in this aircraft. It's fabulous. So V speeds 39, 44, 53. So 139, 144, 153. Okay, so that's now set. We're going to do 163 in our speed window. 63, and we want flap 5.5. So looking on the first officer's side, we're going to dial in the flap, which is 5.5. Let's just get a better view of that. There we go. So 5.5. Oops, going the wrong way. there we go, 5.5 is set. So let's come back to our side. We need to go back to the weight and balance to get the trim, and sorry, the CFG, and the takeoff CFG is 14.1. So we dial that in here, 14.1. Oops, got right past it. That looks to be 14.1. And flap, we need to dial in 5.5. That looks 5.5. So what it's saying now is that the long trim, the trim of the aircraft, needs to be set at just slightly under 0.6, which is here. So I'm going to move the trim. So let's just get a better view of that. Even further across. So that looks to be exactly right. Maybe just a bit more. There we go. So so that's the long trim. So now that should be correct. So you set the flaps here, then you set them here, and you set the CFG here, and it tells you what the trim should be. It's an absolutely marvellous system considering the age of this aircraft. Wow, that's impressive. Hopefully they've all boarded. So if we go back to our, there we go, they've all boarded. And everything is closed up, so I'm happy with that. And I think we can probably get our clearance now. Runway is 12, so we'll just get that dialed into the heading first of all. 12, come on. I should just check that that is the QDM of the runway. We will do it. So info, runways 122, in fact 122, 122. Right, so let's give the ATIS a quick listen.
Landing runway 30, departing runway 12. Transition level 110. 5G notice in effect. Advise on initial contact. You have information Foxtrot. Ljubljana Airport information Foxtrot. 1030 Zulu. Wind 085 at 5. Few clouds at 5000. Temperature to 8. 0.19. Koenehaven 012. Landing runway 30. Departing runway 12.
Okay, so 12 for departures, 30 for arrivals. So let's get our clearance.
Adria 995, request IFR clearance to Campo del Oro Airport.
Adria 995, Ljubljana ground, expect runway 12, LUPIX Delta departure, initial climb to 7,000 feet. Squawk 1000.
Loopy 2 Delta departure. Squawk 1000. Adria 995.
Adria 995, redback correct. Call me back when ready for pushback or engine start.
Roger that, Adria 995.
Okay, so MCP panel, switch on our flight directors. I've got 7,000 dialed in and I'm going to arm it, so it's set and checked. And we've got the speed, heading, initial altitude, so we're good there. We've got the CDU is complete, so we go back to the legs page, and on the Copilot site, go to the progress page, and squawk was 1000, unusual squawk, 1000. There we go, and we go to TA for now. Okay, so we're pretty much ready for engine start. We're just going to switch on the seat belts. Start pump I should have switched off, that's very remiss of me. So I think we're pretty ready now for engine start. So we'll just close the flight deck door, and we need to just get the bleeds switched. Actually, let me get the startup clearance. So startup first.
Adria 995, at stand 40, request engine start.
Adria 995, engine start approved, go when ready for taxi.
Wilco, startup approved. Adria 995.
Okay, so we need to switch off the bleeds. The packs. Then we need to switch on the pneumatics, so we get the air that goes to the engines. There we go. Thank you. We get our beacon light on, and in the Mad Dog we need to do the beacon. Actually, I'll tell you what, I did check the parking brake. It was on, good. So we need to put the beacon lights on. It gets rid of the chocks. Okay, so yeah. So beacon light is on, and the chocks have been removed, so we can now start. So we got the beacon light, we got the nav lights. So we go up top here. We're going to start system B because I did A earlier. Start pump can go on. We're going to switch on all the fuel tanks, and we're going to start number 2 first. And I'll just roll it with the mouse, and that way, because if you click it, you have to hold it in. But if you roll it with the mouse, it stays on. So let's have a look. It should be firing up. There we go. So we've got rotation. We've got pressure. Temperature's rising. We're looking for 22. So M1. So the fan is turning. So we've got 22. We've got. Let's put the fuel on. So where is fuel flow? Okay, come on. EGT, we've got light up and the fan's turning. So, good on number 2. Can switch that off. Starting number 1, so just roll the mouse. So, we've got pressure, temperature, N2, M1's beginning to turn. Again, looking for 22, 21, 22. On it goes. Fuel flow. EGT. And 1 is rising. So I think we're good. So 1 and 2 nicely started. So let's just switch that off. Switch to start pump off. Go to continuous ignition. Switch the APU buses off, switch the APU air off, switch the APU master off, then we put the packs back on, and get rid of the pneumatics, rejected takeoff, but that's the setting, but then you've got to arm it. Okay, and so we won't do that quite yet. Now we're going to set flap. We'll do arm the speed brake, and then we'll do flap. So flap, the first click is slats, second one flap. So that should come to slats, and then it should go green for takeoff. There we go. So that's 5.5 degrees. So flaps are set. We can go to Tara on the transponder, and we can just set our takeoff bugs. There we go. And our speeds are 23. What have we got? I can't quite read that. 24, 39, 48. Okay, so let's get a taxi.
Adria 995, request taxi to the active.
Adria 995, runway 12 taxi via Echo 3, Mike, Alpha, Kilo.
Runway 12 taxi via Echo 3, Mike, Alpha, Kilo, Adria 995.
Right, taxi lights are on, and we can get the parking brake off. And so we've got Echo 3 Actually, I should have just held it on the brakes for a moment. I think we're okay. Echo 3, no idea. Is it Alpha Kilo? Yep. So we'll make our way to. Oh, we won't go that way. We'll go the other way. Okay, so let's parking breakers off. Taxi lights are on. Spool up the engines. They need a little bit of power to unstick the aircraft, and then we can just taxi left here and just reduce the power a little bit. I can't actually see the yellow line. Do you know? I can't see the yellow line. I think it's missing in action. But we'll follow this one. Okay, so we're just going to check left, clear on the left, clear on the right. Of course they're landing on the opposite runway, so hang on, that doesn't look like a taxiway to me. Okay, hang on, bucket brakes coming up. I need a quick recce. There's a taxiway. Okay. Strange. Okay, let's get back. So, parking brake off. And just spool them up a little bit. Just to unstick the aircraft. Yeah. You know what's happening there. But no matter. We'll just follow the green brick road today. Okay, so the MD-80, like the Boeing, has got a takeoff config warning, and you just advance the throttles and it will squawk at you, and I'll do that now. Auto brake, okay, and that's because I've set the auto brake but haven't armed it, and we will do that shortly. So just a turning circle here, so we just keep taxiing.
Beyond ATC connected.
Beyond ATC just had a wobbly, it just disconnected, I don't know why. And what we'll do, we'll just connect back to tower. But there doesn't seem to be any hold markings. Okay. This is a freeware scenery, but there is an addition to freeware scenery which adds extra detail to the airport, and maybe that's conflicting, I don't know. Anyway, we're at the hold, more or less, and we'll just ask for departure.
Adria 995, ready for departure, runway 30.
Adria 995, Ljubljana Tower, wind 035, AT 3, runway 30, cleared for takeoff.
Runway 30, cleared for takeoff, Adria 995.
Right, so I've just zoomed in a bit on the runway, so let's get lined up. So we've got takeoff clearance, so our lights can come on. Okay, so let's get rolling. We'll get the strobe light on. Okay. It's a very long aircraft, this one here. Okay, so let's get lined up. Okay, so we've got takeoff clearance. Arm the auto brake. Start the clock. That's timing, so we can go. So Spool the engines up. Hit the toga on the to get the flight director set, and now press auto throttle, and that will set to takeoff thrust to the flex that we have. Okay, so thrust is set. I don't move my throttles now because they're on clamp. I need to use quite a lot of right rudder today, I don't know why. Maybe it's a bit of wind. Got some left aileron, V1 and rotate. Okay, so positive rate we have. Okay, gear up. Climb on indicated airspeed mode. Go up to 180. We'll get the autopilot on. We'll go to nav mode. Where is that? There it is. And we'll climb on IAS mode for now. Okay. Go to climb power. Switch off our landing lights. Taxi lights. Disarm spoilers. Disarm auto brake. Okay, so we're 180 on the speed. We'll go to VNAV. It's quite bouncy, isn't it? Goodness me, bit of turbulence. VNAV, so now we can just bring in the flaps. So flaps coming up, just the slats to go. Master caution, pitter heats, haven't done that, that's very bad. So pitter heats coming on, and centrifugal pressure, so just switch those pumps off. Okay, we don't need weather radar today. So just let the airplane accelerate, slats can come up. So we've cleaned up, we're on VNAV climb, so it'll come up to 250 on the speed. Gosh, there's a lot of turbulence. Go back to our information page. Okay, aircraft pressurizing. So we haven't got an initial altitude. I just dialed in 10,000 because they usually tell you what to climb to. Hang on, maybe I've got to get my clearance again.
IFR clearance to Campo del Oro Airport.
Adria 995, Ljubljana Tower, expect runway 30, give me 1 Juliet departure. Clock 1000.
I'm not sure.
Gimme 1 Juliet departure. Squawk 1000.
Let's go
Adria
to
995.
let's go to centre.
Adria
We'll announce some frequency.
Ljubljana, Adria 995, 6,700 feet.
Adria 995, Ljubljana departure, identified, climb to flight level 160.
Climb to flight level 160,
Set.
Adria 995.
So 160 set, checked, and press VNAV to get the engine spooling up again. So we'll continue the climb because we got to 7,000. Actually, they did give me that as the initial altitude, didn't they? So my bad. I'm obviously having a bad hair day. Let's have a quick look outside. Look at that. That's lovely. I love the well, I don't really. Well, I do. I love the smoke at the back. JTD8. Say, what can you say other than? Yeah, they're great. It's a good thing they're virtual, really. Anyway, there we go. Unexciting departure. I should be on nav mode, but it seems to be going straight on. So we'll take up our own heading, pull the knob for heading mode, and now we'll just intercept our track. Yeah, the Mad Dog, you've just got, sometimes you think you've done something correctly and you find that actually not today. That was yesterday's rule. Today's rule's different. Don't know what to say. So I'm just coming on to heading mode. I'm going to intercept our original line, and I can see that there's vectors written in there, so maybe I should have been a bit more proactive in it, but you know, in a simulator you fly lots of different aircraft, so I'm going to forgive myself for that. We're accelerating now to 300, which is the climb speed, and yeah, it's lovely. So we're going to come round, and as soon as we get close to the magenta line there, we'll press nav and it should then continue. So FMS altitude is set, 260, heading selected, and we're just going to turn onto track shortly, but then I'll need to do a directive, of course, and VNAV climb. So let's just smooth out that turn.
Adria mine five. Contact Ljubljana radar 1 3 decimal 27 five.
Contact Ljubljana radar 135.275 Adria 995.
We'll just do a direct to
Ljubljana radar Adria 995, crossing flight level 137 for flight level 160.
and we'll execute, and now
Adria
we'll do
995,
nav.
Ljubljana radar contact. Climb to
Nav.
flight
Where's
level
that? Where's
320.
nav gone? Sometimes you can't see the
Climb to
buttons.
flight level 320 Adria
Nav.
995.
Thank you. Maybe I did know it right. I don't know. I think I'm having a bad day, but it's easy to have a bad day in the Mad Dog. I think that's the whole point of it. Anyway, let's just set our heading bug. Okay, and we can just zoom out on the map a little, because at the end of the day, yes, it's showing you your magenta line, but nothing else. You don't know how far your next waypoint is, and so let's just zoom out a bit. There we go. So we've got now something to show. So we got climb to 320, so let's bring that up to 320. 320 set, and we'll just press VNAV and it'll get it to spool up the engines. There they go, and we'll continue our climb. And we can go to 1013 now. 1013-2992, and we can let them out of their seats. So, and we can switch off the continuous ignition. Okay, so I think that is that. Not my most successful takeoff in the Mad Dog, but you know, it is what it is. It's quite a handful, but very rewarding. It is one of those airplanes that just gets under your skin. You just enjoy it because it makes you work. Okay. So, let's get back inside. Actually, let's have a look underneath it. It's a lovely repaint. Absolutely lovely. So, let's just get the... So we can get rid of the ground, and we can get the ILS. So the ILS at Ajaccio is 110.3. We don't want that yet. What we want first is Ajaccio 114.8. We need that because we need the DMEs from it. So 1148. So that's going to go into our box up here. 1148. 1148 is set. We also need an NDB, and that is it's not shown on this. Maybe it doesn't exist anymore. Let me bring this chart. There was an NDB Charlie Tango just on the feather. We'll dial it in, but it might not be there. Otherwise there is Romeo Bravo. So we'll dial both in. 387 365. Oops. Computer seems to have frozen a bit. Come on. There we go. So 387 I think it was. I'd better check. So 387 365. 387 365. So 3 8 7 and 3 6 5. So we want 387, so I'm going to make that the active. That's now active. It's on ADF. And what we'll do, we'll just put 1148 on box 2. Okay, so that means that I can free that one up for the ILS, and I can free this for the ADF. So that's now an ADF, and we want the ILS frequency, which is 1103 course 022. 1103 022. So let's get the heading bug centered. We're just passing to pretty much 230, and I think we're okay. Let's have a quick look outside. So I think if we look at our map, we'll probably be north of Beam. Let's have a look. Where would we be? North of Beam Trieste, I think. Thereabouts. So we did India Lima Bravo. So I don't know if we can see that out the window of this. Let's just get the position. So yeah, we can see this. So we can see Trieste, and shortly we'll see Venice. So let's have a look at Trieste. There we go. Prone, an area prone. This is Italy, prone to earthquakes, I seem to remember. Unfortunately, you can't breathe in those Jet A1 fumes. Don't know if you've noticed the differences. The MD-80 series are two tail types. This is the cone, and there was a flat tail design as well. This is the rarer of the two. And I believe that this entire cone section was designed to break off in the event of an accident, because then the rear door could be used to egress the aircraft. Not this rear door, but the bulkhead one. Okay. So, we're just approaching the cruise. Let's just get the because what we'll do, we'll fast forward a little bit when we get to cruise. So for now, what we can do, we can put the hold in at Ajaccio. So 1148, and we want inbound 247 left hand, and that'll be entry at 11,000. Okay, so let's get that set up. So Bastia, we want to get to at 11, not Bastia. See how easy it is to make a mistake? Gosh. Next page. Ajaccio, 11,000. So what we'll do, slash 11000. In fact, we want to do both speed and altitude, so we're going to do it in the format that's shown here. So 210 slash 11. Oops. There we go. And I need to go previous page, Ajaccio, pop it in there and execute. So that's now set, because the hold, if you remember, has a maximum speed of 210 knots, and we will probably do it a lot slower. But for now, I'm just asking the
Adria 995, contact Zagreb radar 124.85.
Contact Zagreb radar 12.85, Adria 995. Have a good day. Zagreb radar, Adria 995, crossing flight level 278 for flight level 320.
Adria 995, Zagreb radar, radar contact.
Okay. So, I'm just asking the aircraft to get us to Ajaccio, VOR at 11,000, flight level 110. The transition at Ajaccio is 5,000, so it's flight level 110 we want to be at, and a speed 210. I'm just getting the FNC to get us to Ajaccio at that. I will then slow the aircraft down, because we'll do this probably about 180, because of course the faster you go, the larger your turn radius is. If you're wondering where I got this map, I literally just edited with paint.net, you know, the current chart, just to add these details as it would have been in the day of the Adria 1308. So we've got this as a constraint set, but we need to get the hold in. So left hand inbound 247. So let's get that in. So Ajaccio, we need to do a hold. So press hold. Ajaccio, we pop it into the hold window, and then it's 247 slash L for left. That goes there, and it's picked up already the restrictions that we had for Ajaccio, so 210 and flight level 110. Okay, so we'll execute that. But just wondering whether I should make that 180. We'll leave it like that. That's fine. Okay, so let's go back to the legs page. So if we go back to the legs page now, if I go to the next page, you should see AJO hold. There it is. So definitely we'll enter the hold when we get to Ajaccio. Back to legs page, and we're just 1,000 short of our cruise. Just going to center the heading bug. Okay, heading bug is set. So what can we see? Well, there's that's Trieste down there, and this is there's Venice down there. So Venice Airport, that will be an aircraft at Venice Airport, and Venice itself is there. That's the Grand Canal. Or is it? No, the Grand Canal's inside the main part there. That's the Lido. And we're gonna, so what's CIH? That is
Adria 995, contact Milan radar 124.925.
Chioggia.
Contact Milan radar 12.925, Adria 995. Milan radar, Adria 995. Good day, flight level 319er.
Adria 995, Milan radar, radar contact.
Right, so we're just at cruise. Go to cruise on the thrust rating panel. Okay. I guess it makes them just a bit more thrifty. So, FMS speed. So the speed is managed by the FMS. We're on the nav track, so it's on the FMS and VNAV level. So we're still on VNAV. So like the Boeings, if you just dial in a lower altitude, at the top of the descent, the aircraft will begin to descend on its own without further intervention. This is just an exercise in, I don't know, ergonomics, not quite. This is just an exercise in how to hit your head on something sharp and how to have every bit of space taken up by something. It's just incredible that they actually managed to put something like this together. There was a great video by, I think, Kent Wine, I think, American pilot, on the it's called Why I Fell in Love with the MD-80, and he talks about it with great affection. But things like this, these knobs here, they are from the parts bin. They're also found on DC-3s. There is no magnetic compass to be seen here, except there is a mirror somewhere. I think it's, if I click, oh, there we go. There's a mirror there, and you just literally position this mirror, you move it, and that gives you a view of that mirror and then this box. I think that's how it works. And in this box you'll find the magnetic, the whiskey compass as they call it. I mean, just crazy, isn't it? Because I just, like an oversight, we forgot to put the mirror in. What can we do? Put it here, it's going to take up too much space. Well, I don't know, I think it would have worked if they put it there, but anyway, you've got one mirror, two mirrors, three mirrors, and the compass. Brilliant. He also goes on to say that these pneumatic valves here, if you forget to switch them off afterwards, they might spring back or something, and hit your hand. I don't know. Goodness. So it's brilliant design. Just it's that age of airplane, like the Innie builds, 300, 310, Boeing 757. It's trying to be grown up, but it's not quite there yet. Brilliant. So let's get the weather at Ajaccio. So switch off Ljubljana, go to Ajaccio, go to weather. So we've got 2308 knots, so we could land on 02. Cavic, so nothing below 5,000. Visibility 10 kilometers. Temperature 31, dew point 22. QNH 1012. No significant change in the next, I think, hour, is it? I've forgotten all this. So our top of descent will probably be somewhere around Pisa. Let's see if we can find out where exactly it will be. So we'll zoom out. No, in fact, the top of descent is not far from Bastia. And it knows that we need to be at Ajaccio at flight level 110. So we're just coming up to Chioggia, so we're just coasting in. If we look outside and look downwards, we should see Chioggia. There we go. Not many people in the sky. Where have you all gone? Somebody down there, he was on the ground before though, in Venice. We just centre the heading bug. There we go. Hide the mirror. Taking up valuable real estate there. Whew. Right, so what we'll do now, we'll just fast forward and we'll pick up again just before our top of descent. Alright, so see you in a bit. So, welcome back to the stream. We've coasted out from Italy. We're now coasting in overhead Corsica, which means we're not too far from Bastia. So let's get inside and have a quick look. So we are less than 20 miles from our top of descent, and all that you've missed so far is that Beyond ATC just offered me vectors. It actually said, do you want a different runway? So I said yes, and then it went on to say, well, which one do you want? And yeah, it just came with the same runway, so no good. It wanted to vector me into the runway, so I switched it off. So anyway, what we need to do now is just reset our MCP altitude. That's what it's saying. MCDU message, reset FGCP flight guidance control panel altitude. So we're going to dial in flight level 110, 11,000. Okay, so that is set and checked. We're still on VNAV alt, so when we get to top of descent, the aircraft will start to descend. So we're all good. Got some traffic showing on TCAS here, so you can see him. No. Okay, so anyway, Beyond ATC, it's lovely, but it's not quite there yet. If you're just doing an A to B flight, then yes, it's going to absolutely deliver. It's brilliant. But if you want to do something slightly different and request particular things from ATC, then it can't quite match, can't quite deliver. So top of descent's just coming up, and the aircraft should start descending on its own. So you'll see the engines spooling down. There we've got the vertical profile indicator, and you'll see that we're now coming down just 2,000 feet per minute, slightly more, 2.5. There we go. Okay, and that's going to get us, so let's just zoom out on the map, that's going to get us to Ajaccio for the hold. So this green banana should, with any luck, yeah, it is. It should end up at the hold. AJO Alpha Juliet Oscar. Okay. So we get our first glimpse of Corsica. So as you can see, it really is pretty mountainous. Quite a few airports though on it, and the Ajaccio is just in the southwest quadrant somewhere here. There is a big airport here, I think. Let's have a look at the map. So we've got, go back to the IFR map. So we've got Kilo Charlie, which is St. Catherine's, Calvi. Then you've got Bastia, which is pretty much underneath where we were. Then you've got a little GA field in the centre here, which is called Corte. Another one here, which is unpronounceable, Alzitone. Then there's one down here, Figari, another Propriano, and then you've got Ajaccio, just festooned with airfields. But because it's so mountainous, it's nearly understandable. So let's just check our beacons. So we've got 1148, and we need to have also 387. So let's see if they're working. Let's go back inside. So we've got 1148 set on box 2, and that is showing 40 miles to run, and that would make sense because you see the 40-mile arc there. Okay, so we are definitely picking up. We should really do a get the idents for these nav aids, and we've got 387s are active NDB, and that is, I don't think that's picking up because it would be pointing straight ahead. Okay, so we're below 25, so let's get them strapped in. Oh, there we go. And we're coming in, we'll do a low level circuit, so let's just brief ourselves on that. Let me do that again. There we go. So at 2 DME from the threshold, that's on the ILS Alpha Charlie, we brake left onto 341. We go past this hill here. There is a couple of masts to watch out for. We take up a track parallel to the runway, same track as we were on the ILS, and when we get to before 4.2 DME, probably about 3.5, we'll start our turn. Okay, let's bring up that. So I don't think that first NDB is present in today's nav data, which means it probably won't come in. So let's get 365 dialed in to see if that one works. 365, so we'll go to box 2. And maybe that's in. I'm going to zoom in on the map. It's coming down at a rate, isn't it? So it's pointing 50 or so degrees off to our right, and that would, I don't know, I think it's probably not. No, I would have thought it'd be, no, I don't think that's quite right. I would have thought it'd be more than 1 o'clock, unless it is that. No, so that's definitely box 1. Both on ADF. So go back to. No, see, it's not ADF VOR. It's picking up the ILS now, which is this one. We want that on VOR because that's the DME that we need. Right, so drag required, it's saying. So let's give it some drag. So bring the spoilers out. So we're going to enter the hold. We'll, because it's a flight level 110, we'll descend on the 1013 on the standard pressure. You see it's going to make it. Let's just zoom in one more. So you see the green banana is before Ajaccio, which is here, and that's because then that green dot is to decelerate. Let's have a look. So that's the runway down there, I think. Yeah, that's the run. That's the airport. That's the runway. That's the hill I was talking about. So we will about here brake left, go parallel, and turn like this. That's the theory anyway. Okay, just stow the brakes. Traffic, where is the traffic? Well, I don't know. No factor, I guess. So we will help the aircraft slow down to 210 knots, and then we will help it slow down further. Okay, roughly about 500 to go. See the ILS has come in. So we're just going to level off. I'm just going to zoom in on the map. So we're just leveling off now, and then we can decelerate. In fact, you can see the speed coming back. So I'm going to help it. Give it a bit of a spoilers. There they are. Excuse me. And it should enter the hold. Okay. And I'm going to go slats. So slats coming down. So the aircraft should pick up the hold now. There we go. And we're just going to slow it down a little bit more. So let's go down to 180. And we're going to descend to, we said 6,800. And we're set and checked. We'll come down vertical speed mode. We'll come down about 1,400 feet per minute. 1,400 feet. And we want to slow down to 180. Okay. And we'll go flaps. Right then, so let's just set the heading bug because we want to exit the hold on 247 radial. So in fact, let's just get the VOR back on this box. 1148. And it was the 247 radial we want. Okay. So this is a 1 minute hold, 247 radial. Got set. Got a bit of wind. Pretty much tailwind, 15 knots. I did ask it to do 180 on the speed. Let me just see if that will. That's where the Maddog just confuses me. Quite know why it doesn't do the speed I ask it to. Maybe I'm pressing all the wrong buttons. Maybe we just need one more stage of flap. Because it's saying low limit here, so maybe we just need one more stage. Okay, so we're descending now, we're passing 8.7. Don't think we're going to get to 6. Well, maybe we will. But what I'm going to do, I'm just going to go to the hold page. If I can see it, hold page, thank you. In readiness to exit the hold. So we've got 2,000 to lose. Not sure we'll do it this time around. Maybe we will, but we might be low enough because we've got to descend to 3,300 on the outbound leg 247 radial. So we've got the heading set to 247 as well. Radial 247. So where are we? 78. We've got 1,000 to lose, so I think we will make it. In fact, that green banana is saying that we will. And again, we're still on the flight level. So 500 to go. So we're all good. And poor old 1308, it was doing this, but a little bit too fast with ambiguous clearances. The terminology from both aircraft and ATC were a little non-standard, and they were doing it in cloud and too fast. So, yeah, it wasn't a good consequence. So we're coming down to 180 now on the speed. I'm going to arm the exit. Exit armed. Press execute. And then when we get to Ajaccio, the aircraft is going to want to fly to the initial approach fix, Charlie Fox 02. But I'm actually going to get it to follow the radial 247. So we're level. Let's get 3,300 dialed in. That's set and checked. So we're just coming up to Ajaccio now, and I'm going to go to heading mode before I do anything else. And I'm not going to descend till the other side, so you'll see the needle swing, then I'll go to heading mode, then we'll start to descend. So the needle is swinging. I'm going to come round. There we go. Heading mode. I'm going to go to VOR. And we want to intercept that track. So I want to go, let's take up a heading slightly like that, and then we'll come down because we've got 3,300 set. I'm going to come down a bit faster than before, 1,800. We've got a lot of drag out, and just to remind ourselves, we want to come out to 8 DME from Ajaccio. So we haven't got long, so it's coming in, so press VOR localizer, so that'll now pick up the radial. I'm going to center the heading bug again, and the DME I've got set on box 2, if you remember. Okay, so make sure I'm on VOR, which I am, and I want to go onto the ILS, which is 110.3 and 022. So 110.3. 0.3, and it was 022. Goodness me, that's quite hard to do this. Oops, let me do that again. So we got the ILS dialed in, and we're not on the radial. Why is that? Why? What's happened there? Because I'm not following, because I've just retuned it, haven't I? We should still be on the right heading. So it's 6 DME. That's my bad. I shouldn't have changed the from the VOR frequency to the ILS. That's my bad. So we're 6.7. It's maintaining that heading. We'll just make sure it does. So we're on heading mode now. Descending, got about 1,000 to go to 3,300. We can go to the QNH 1011, which we've set, and we're at 7.7, and now we can do a turn. Let's come round all the way around. So we got an intercept on the ILS, which is set. So that was my bad. So just leveling off at 3,300. Just bringing the heading bug round So we've got an intercept about 30 or 40 degrees from the ILS here. I'm going to slow it down. We don't want to overshoot this. So it's very easy to make mistakes in this aircraft. So speed brake's going to get armed. Auto brake we're going to go medium. Can't arm it yet. And we take up this heading here, 060 I think it is, or thereabouts. We should get the ILS coming in. And then we press the ILS button when we do. So 170 on the speed. Hopefully that will start to move. So any time now. Am I complete? No, there it comes. So ILS is on. Right, so we have localizer captured. I'm going to set the heading bug to 0. Actually, I don't want it to 022. What we want is 341. So the heading bug's coming on to 341. So we're established now. Y slope's coming in. Reduce speed to 160. Gear. Another stage of flap. Bring this to 341. Because you remember at 2 DME we need to brake left. So localizer captured, ILS is on, the glide slope is just coming in, and we should start heading downhill any second now. Okay, it should reduce speed further. 150. Are we coming down? Yeah, that's up, matey. Don't come down. There we go. Thank you. Right, so we've got landing flaps set, which means I can arm this. We're going to pretend that we've got clearance from ATC. Our landing lights can come on. They do another thing. Because they extend at the end, at the very tips of the wings here, as you can see, they add a bit of drag. They slow you down by another couple of knots, is my understanding. So down we go. We should get the missed approach altitude set, but we're not going to because we're doing the visual circuit, and I just don't want to faff around too much, because I faffed around and I got the VOR and the ILS mixed up. Heck, what can I say? So we'll go max continuous thrust on the thrust rating panel, just in case we need it. And when we get to 2 DME, we're oh gosh, we're very wobbly, isn't it? Woo. And the other thing is, on my homemade chart, I didn't have it correctly set. The ILS actually get down to 3,300 feet. It's 3,000 feet today. But anyway, so we're continuing on. We're nicely on the glide, nicely on the localizer, and we've got 3 to run. No, sorry, no, we've got 6 to run. So if we just look ahead, there's the runway, and I think the hill is this here, this darker area here. We're going to turn towards here, so to the west of this hill. We're going to try and maintain 1,000 feet. Not that easy in this. And then when we get to about 3.5 DME, we start a right turn all the way around like this to land. Anyway, that's the theory, because today the winds are favouring 20 rather than 02, or back in the day it was 0321. So let's have a look. We're 4 miles, 4.5 miles, Another 2 to run on the ILS, and we'll stop descending at 1000, and we will go manual on the throttles. So autopilot's coming off, auto throttle's coming off, and I'm just going to set the power levers so that they are where they were, but as set by the autopilot, and I'm just going to maintain, if I can, 1000 feet. Okay, and we've got about 2 to run. We don't want to get low, we don't want to get low, and we don't want to get slow, so a bit of power's coming on. Got 1 stage of flap to go, and because you can't really hear the engines in this aircraft, it's very hard. There we go, 2 miles. So we're going to come round to the heading bug, which we set at 341, I think it was 341. There we go, and that's going to take us just to the left of that hill. Then we're going to take up a heading 022, which is a parallel course. So I don't want to get low, so I'm going to let it climb a couple of 100 feet. It is very hard because it's hard to hear the engines in this aircraft. So it's hard to know when you've got power adjusted correctly. So let's have a look. We're just coming up to the other side of that hill, so I'm just going to keep on it a little bit more. We want to get the other side of it. We're just descending a bit now, so let's climb. That's probably a bit of caused by the woodlands. So anyway, let's come around now to 022, which we need to get set on our heading bug. 022, the co-pilot will normally do this. 022, 22 set. There we go. And we want to maintain 1000 feet, and we want to maintain about 140 knots, which is our ref. So if I just click this, go to landing data and reset the bugs, there we go. So 022 we've got set. We've got 1 stage of flap to go. We're about 1000 feet, and we want to go to 4, not quite to 4.2 DME. So 3.5 DME is the level that we 3.3 we've got 3.1. Okay, don't want to get slow. 3.3, 3.4, and round we go 3.5. So nice steady turn, and when we break off from this, we should be lined up-ish with the runway, as long as I don't climb, because that's going to be awkward. Then we have to come down a bit faster. So let's just make sure we don't lose altitude now. First step in not climbing is make sure you don't lose altitude. So 140 on the speed, that's okay. And we want runway 20. So I'm not sure if I can get the heading knob changed in time. I'm not going to worry about that. I'm just going to bring it round onto the heading. I've got it shown on the HSI anyway. So oops, we're climbing. Too much power. Keep going round. There we go. Reduce power. Last stage of flap coming out. Okay. And so that was my bad. I climbed 200 feet that last bit, and it's making the airplane squawk at me because we're coming down rather fast with engines idle. But you know, it's not easy in this airplane. It really isn't. Is it easier in an Airbus? Probably. Is it easier in a 737? Probably. Okay, so 300, so profile's okay now. 200. There we go. Well, idle and touchdown. Reverses coming on. Yeah, so we got that guy squawking at us. That's nice of him. Friendly chap. SFS realistic. I think he's just used to first class flight really, and you don't get that with me. So we're going to roll to the end because the runway here, there's one turn off point I think, and so we need to get to the end and then turn right. We're not going to do anything about the landing lights or the flaps or the slats or the spoilers until we're off the runway and the other side of the hold. Okay. And what we will do, we'll come to a full stop. The other side of the hold. Okay, so come to a full stop. Now we'll tidy up. So, taxi lights, strobe light, APU, stop pump, APU on, flaps, so flaps all the way up, slats up, auto brake off, and master caution off. So APU's firing up, yes it is. Okay, so let's get taxiing. We've got one more stage to go on the slats because wait till all the flaps are up, then you can retract the slats. There we go. So let's give it a bit of power and we'll start taxiing to a stand. This is freeware scenery from flightsim.to. It's very, very nice. So, if you don't know Mentor Pilot, I really suggest you give it a look because the insight you will get is I think immeasurable because of his experience, because of his knowledge. He imparts a lot of information. That's how you learn things to do, things not to do, things to look out for, things to keep aware of. You know, he reports on sad news, and what we can get from that is knowledge, okay, and that helps us improve. So we're going to take this slot just before the volte, if that's, yeah, it's a slot. So let's have a look. Switch off our taxi light, we're on blind to the ground crew, and what we'll do, we'll just go into there and then we'll so as usual, 1 or 2 errors crept in, but I guess, you know, that's how I learn. Let's try not to make the same errors. So it's a long aircraft, so what we'll do, we'll just use the A321 stop. There we go. Come back inside, put our parking brake on, parking brake is on, and the beacon's still on, so we can switch the engines off. Get the APU generators on, APU air can come on, let them out of their seats, chocks can come on, and we do that in this by switching off the beacon light, which is there, and now we'll be able to open the doors. So let's go to ground, we'll open air stair, main door, off, oops, I've clicked it twice, aft stair, aft main, and the cargo doors, and we can begin unloading. Okay, so let's have a look outside. So APU is running, doors are open, got the last bit of the door to to work this time. So here we go. Welcome to Ajaccio. And I hope that was useful. I know I made errors, but you know, that's how I learn. So maybe we'll do the other visual approach that takes you along. There's a valley. Let me see if I can find it. There's a valley somewhere here. So let's just zoom out. So you end up, yeah, that's the one there. So you end up coming down this here, and then you round out by those lakes. Sorry, you turn just by those lakes, and that's perfect positioning for runway 20. There's probably an RNF approach that does that these days, but yeah. Anyway, there is Corsica. That's the Mad Dog. Drove me nuts. And I'll see you all in the next one. Bye now.